program to increase funding and build staff capacity. Plus outrage in Gambia over release of 3 self-confessed assassins under Yahya Jammeh's regime. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the federal government and African Development Bank Joint Agricultural Development Program has made tremendous impact on Nigeria's food production in the last 4 years. This is coming as the federal government pledges to strengthen the program through funding and staff capacity building. Musa Baba Ali has details.
Government, in partnership with African Development Bank, introduced the Agriculture Transformation Agenda Support Program with a view to changing the thinking of rural farmers from peasant to business-oriented farming. The focus of the program is commodity value chain alongside infrastructure development as some of its key components in 4 staple crop processing zones. The target beneficiaries of the program are smallholder farmers, mainly youth and women, to be trained along rice, sorghum and cassava value chains.
The program has contributed to the food and nutrition security, job and wealth creation objectives of Nigerian agricultural policy. About 299,615 jobs have been created compared to a target of 120,000.
A figure released by the National Office of the Program in Abuja indicates that more than 100,000 tons of food valued at 30 billion naira has been added to the national food supply in the last 3 years. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And still on agribusiness, the United States Agency for International Development has launched a new feed, the Future Nigeria Activities, to nurture a business environment that promotes private sector investment in agriculture. Justin Bemoyi reports that the 5-year, $15.7 million agribusiness promotes wealth.
This agribusiness activity is aimed at integrating thousands of micro, small and medium enterprises and producer organizations as high-performing commercial actors in the rice, maize, soybean, aquaculture and cowpea value chains. The program is to focus on 5 key pillars, which are enlisting public and private sector partners, connecting MSMEs to agribusinesses, supporting the development of new financial products, linking MSMEs and entrepreneurs with larger firms, as well as reforming policies that constrain the ease of doing business.
That no one else will grow the future of Nigeria other than Nigerians.
Businesses with the private sector is the way that we can grow and expand the pie that can match our population growth and the demand that we need in order to create that all-inclusive growth.
The agribusiness investment activity will be implemented by cultivating new frontiers in agriculture, CNFA, in 7 states: Kaduna, Niger, Kebbi, Benue, Delta, Ebonyi, and Cross River.
The program by the Future, of which Kebbi State is one of the 7 states in the Pokali area, will furthermore enhance our access to agribusinesses, to unlock our access to more capital, particularly private equity.
After the MOU in general, I want to itemize each area of participation. For us right now, we're looking at land preparation, we're looking at availability for tractors, and we want to make sure that our organic fertilizer plant starts working. Those are the areas we'll be working with the Feed the Future program immediately.
In Abuja, Justin Bemoyi, NTA News.
And we're not done with agriculture yet. The Africa Development Bank, AFBD, is expediting an investment drive into the special agro-processing zones in Nigeria to exploit the full potential of the agriculture sector. At a forum with Chinese investors in Abuja, AFBD's country's director said it is an effort in line with Nigeria's quest to attain self-sufficiency and reduce poverty. Leah Katung Babatunde reports.
The African Development Bank is providing a veritable platform for investment in technology on one hand to cross-fertilize with available market space on the other hand, leveraging on available human resources. But the big question is, why China?
30 years ago, people didn't have cars. China, household, 35 years ago. But in a very short time, this country has transformed itself, has become a global player, and has actually lifted over 500 million people out of poverty.
This forum is in line with the AFDB's country strategic paper in Nigeria to support development of sound policy and social inclusion and support infrastructure. Out of the $5 billion active portfolio of the bank in the country, only 8% is in agriculture, propelling this private sector investment drive. The Chinese growth experience is one the AFDB and Nigeria is seeking to infuse in the industry to enhance food security.
Over the next 5 years, which is a level of investment of close to $6 billion across the board. In agriculture, I think we expect that over the next 5 years, we should be able to invest close to $1 billion.
A lot of very interested partners in China, and including the very large-scale companies and also some middle-sized companies, because of the advantages of the African continent. I'm sure there are more and more investors coming.
This process is aimed at removing barriers and granting potential investors access to the special agro-industrial processing zones that have started taking shape across the country following the federal government's agriculture advancement policy. In Abuja, Leah Kating-Baba today, NTA News.
Let's now talk aviation. Air traffic engineers from across Africa have met in Abuja to brainstorm on how to improve safety in the aviation sector, as well as build capacity of its personnel. Joshua Ojito has details.
Over the years, nations of Africa are said to have horrible incidences of air crashes leading to loss of lives. This gathering of air traffic engineers from across Africa is to build capacity of personnel who links air traffic controllers with the pilots. It is a peer review session as they share experiences and strive towards ensuring safety in the airspace.
As a young engineer, I faced some of these problems working on the radar systems, and it was a forum like this that I got the solutions to the problems that we have to resolve back home. So when I got home, it was easy resolving the situation. So a meeting like this is very important and crucial for our profession.
There is also a call for licensing of air traffic safety electronics personnel (ATSEP) by the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO) in order to enhance global safety.
So the essence of this meeting will help us to make projections for the future, and we streamline on areas that we need to do more and to concentrate our energies in order that we can find improvements, because our target is zero tolerance for air accidents.
Experiences shared and deliberations generated, including communique, would be of immense impact in mapping out the way forward in all facets of air traffic safety engineering.
With the theme Aviation Safety and Licensing of ATSEP, participants are hopeful that the outcome of the regional meeting will improve air safety in the continent. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA.
And still on safety, the National Council on Fire and State Director Service Delivery in the fire sector. Correspondent Kemi Bisisani reports.
The ever-evolving and increasing threats to lives, property and the environment have continued to expand the workload and strengthen the capacity of the fire service officials in Nigeria, as their schedule is no longer restricted to responding to fires in building alone, but now includes responding to incidents of collapsed buildings and flood disasters. Stakeholders said while victims trapped under collapsed buildings may be faced with imminent death if there is no equipment to locate and rescue them early, and many lives they said will be lost in flood disasters without appropriate means to reach and extricate them early. The National Council on Fire converged to productively deliberate on ways in which technology can enhance fire and other disaster safety delivery in Nigeria.
Now, if you see what is happening in developed countries, is not happening here. But with the coming of His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari, we are able to take some equipment.
Kwara State government will join Mr. President's flight to the next level and we attend to the remaining requests one after the other in due course.
Kemi Bisisoni, NTA News.
To other matters now, with the exit of many experienced public servants from the public service, the need for capacity building to enhance the skills of existing ones has become imperative. Director General Bureau for Public Service Reforms, Dr. Dasuki Arabi, stated this when he paid a visit to the Public Service Institute of Nigeria. Austin Anyibi reports.
Public servants are the drivers of government policies and programs. They are therefore expected to be efficient in executing their task. These underscore the need for enhanced training for those in service to keep abreast with the dynamics of service delivery, particularly in relation with federal government reforms in key sectors of the economy, has been evolved by President Muhammad Buhari. This is the collaboration the Director General Bureau for Public Service Reforms, Dr. Dasuki Arabi, is seeking from the Administrator, Public Service Institute of Nigeria.
We have beautiful strategies, beautiful documents that cannot be implemented if the staff are not trained, if they don't have the capability.
He noted that the Bureau has initiated several reforms that are strategic to development since it was established in 2004. The reforms have added value to the management of public finance, but needs to be sustained through capacity building of public servants in ICT and promoting e-governance.
National strategy on public service reforms is built around 4 pillars. Pillar 3 is talking to public financial management. And we are glad to say that more than 85% of the aspirations under Pillar 3 have been implemented.
On the part of the Public Service Institute of Nigeria, it has developed several aspects of training manuals in areas of ICT and entrepreneurial skills.
The Nigerian public servant of today must be ICT compliant if you must key into the reforms.
The institute is currently training 1,000 public servants under the Vision 2020 strategic reforms by the head of service. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
To education now, the dream of most students is to one day become an expert in their different fields of endeavor, hopefully after going through university and other higher institutions. This notion is not an exception for some students from the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, when they paid a visit to the headquarters of the Nigerian Television Authority in Abuja. Ruth Aguele tells us more.
As Africa's largest television network, NTA is known to not only build its capacity for better coverage, but also always ready to inspire younger minds who someday find themselves in the field of broadcasting or related fields. These young brilliant minds are from the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, from the Department of Industrial Design. Their visit to NTA is to get a practical and deeper knowledge of what they are taught in school. The Assistant Director News Repertorial, Mohammed Ali, is their tour guide around the different units of the organization. Their first point of call was the network newsroom, where they were taken through the rigorous process of production.
Every punctuation requires an action. If that is a comma, you have to breathe. If that is a full stop, you have to stop. So that action of stopping takes a particular time.
Their area of interest, which is their course of study, graphics design, was also another point of call. Jira Joseph is a 500-level student of industrial design. After school, she hopes to go into printing with specialization on graphics.
Before it was still graphics and printing I mostly do, but coming here it has expanded my knowledge.
Most of the theoretical things that I was taught in school, thank God I see them here in practical.
And we've been able to come and see, and also they help us demonstrate some of those things.
They say knowledge gained is knowledge shared. These students hope to share the experience with their coursemates when they go back to school. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you live from Abuja. Let's take a break now. We'll be right back. for staying with us. There must be a concrete agreement between all key players before digital switchover in the next set of states ready for migration. Director General National Broadcasting Commission, Ishaq Modibo Kau, said this in an interview with Adebola Brookston Sunday.
So far, 6 states have migrated from analog to digital broadcasting in Nigeria. Ishaq Modibo Kau said 3 states are next in line for migration.
Most recent meeting we held a couple of weeks ago with the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria, we tentatively agreed again that, okay, let us work out a new timeline to see how we can go to other locations in Nigeria. And we're looking at the possibility of going to the biggest media markets, Lagos, Kano, Port Harcourt, and then a national rollout over a period of, say, 15 to 20 months.
The Director General urged signal distributors and content providers to be patient as the Commission is almost concluding plans for the timeline.
We're going to release those timelines, but we want to be sure that every component part of the process is on board. If we do not do that, you know, the movement of a group is determined by the last person actually in that train. We want to be sure that everybody is carried along in terms of their contribution to the process, in terms of what they expect as the outcome.
Year 2020 is the current deadline given by the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, for all African countries to migrate from analog to digital broadcasting. Adebola Brookston Sunday, NTA News.
Into security, the Ogun State government has warned that it will not hesitate to destroy any property used by criminals for their heinous acts and also arrest owners of such property for proper prosecution. The governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, stated this at a press briefing on the activities of kidnappers and successes recorded so
of about 18 people. This made the State Police Command swing into action, rescuing the victims unhurt. Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, while briefing the media, assured that all necessary support will be provided for security agencies to secure every part of the state, including the waterways. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari and the Inspector General of Police, Muhammad Adamu, for measures put in place to assist men of the Nigerian police in the rescue mission.
Let me use this opportunity to sound this very strong note of warning to our landlords and any property owners that any property or facility found to be serving as hideouts to criminals will not only be taken over, but we will demolish them. The landlords will also be arrested and handed over for prosecution for harboring criminals. We'll consider and treat them as accomplices.
Aside the governor's desire to launch the State Security Trust Fund, there are also plans to provide vehicles, speedboats, and communication gadgets for security agencies in the state, as well as legislation and expeditious judicial actions for speedy trial of crime suspects. The Commissioner of Police, Bashir Makama, speaks on the arrests made so far.
Suspects are arrested and they are being investigated. Details will be made known to you as soon as it is over.
Meanwhile, the state government has ordered the immediate clearing of bushes around Shagamu or a road at least 25 meters.
The federal government has declared Monday 12th and Tuesday 13th August as public holidays to mark the 2019 Eid al-Kabir celebration. In a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Mohammed Manga, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Interior, Georgina Ehoma Ihuria, MON, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulated Muslim faithful on the occasion. It called on all Nigerians at home and in diaspora to use the period of celebration to embrace the virtues of love, humility, peace and sacrifice as exemplified by the Holy Prophet Muhammad. She also urged Nigerians to shun any form of destructive tendencies and join hands with the federal government to build a peaceful, strong and united Nigeria. Still on the celebration, with the declaration of Sunday 11th as the day of Eid al-Kabir in Nigeria, the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC has commenced massive mobilization of its personnel for the Salah Special Patrol, aimed at making the roads safer during the festive period and beyond. The Corps Public Education Officer, BC Kazim, says not fewer than 35,000 FRSC regular and special marshals, 736 patrol vehicles, 120 ambulances, 25 tow trucks would be for the special operation. The public education officers stated that the goal of special operation, which commenced from 9th to 16th August 2019, is the cost commitment to its 2019 corporate strategic goals of reducing road traffic crashes by 20%. Still on the celebration, authorities in Saudi Arabia are putting finishing touches at various locations designated by Prophet Muhammad for the conduct of Hajj rites by pilgrims. Lami Ali reports from the holy city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia.
Located 2 kilometers away from the holy city of Mecca, the sites where all pilgrims will converge to perform parts of the Hajj rites include Muna, Arafat, and Muzdalifah. Information made available by the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah indicates that 46,000 personnel from across agencies of government have been drafted to provide pilgrims with best of services in order to perform the religious rites in ease. Officials from relevant establishments in Saudi Arabia have also been holding meetings with representatives of Hajj commissions of participating countries, including Nigeria, for briefings on new measures adopted for crowd control.
They have very serious concern about Nigeria because Nigeria in this Africa non-Arab establishment constitute like 1/3 of the whole population. So they are very, very concerned. In fact, not just the establishment, the whole ministry, the whole organ of organizers of the Hajj are concerned and are very, very particular about Nigeria.
Meanwhile, more pilgrims are arriving in Mecca to perform Umrah, preparatory to the commencement of Hajj. In Mecca, Saudi Arabia, Lami Ali, NTA.
And for trending stories in the foreign scene, Obiageli Uwoke is our guide.
Hello and a warm welcome to this segment of the news. Relatives of people murdered under the regime of the Gambia's former ruler, Yahya Jammeh, have expressed outrage over the release of 3 self-confessed assassins. The men, who were members of a paramilitary unit known as the Junglers, were freed from army custody 2 weeks after appearing before the Gambia Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, TRRC. The 3 soldiers, Malik Jatta, Umar Jal